Ever heard of the dark web?
Hmm.
Kind of spooky name, right?
Yeah, it does have kind of a mysterious vibe.
It's like the internet's hidden basement,
Ooh, I like
the
that.
part that most people never see.
Most people don't even know it exists.
Right, exactly. But it does, and it's huge.
Massive.
And it might be way more important than you think.
It really might.
Today, we are diving deep. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
All right, so think of the internet like an iceberg.
Okay, I'm picturing it.
The tip, the part everyone sees, that's the surface web, right?
Right.
Google, Facebook, all that good stuff.
All the usual suspects.
But then beneath the surface,
There's more.
there's way more.
A lot more.
Okay, so hit me with the deep web facts.
Okay, so the deep web is like the vast majority of the internet.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, it's all the stuff that isn't indexed by search engines.
Wow.
So think like your private emails,
Yeah.
online banking portals,
Right.
company databases, all that stuff.
Gotcha. So it's not necessarily like bad or scary,
No, not inherently. It's just hidden.
just hidden.
Yeah.
Okay, so if the surface web is the tip and the deep web is that massive underwater chunk,
Right.
where does the dark web fit into all of this?
Okay, so think of the dark web as the ocean floor.
Even deeper.
Even deeper, even more hidden, yes.
So how do you even get there?
You need special tools,
Okay.
like the Tor browser. Yeah, stands for the onion router,
Why an onion?
because it bounces your traffic through a global network of servers, and it wraps your data in layers of encryption.
Like an onion,
Exactly.
anonymity city, huh?
Pretty much.
So why would anyone want to be that anonymous online?
Well, lots of reasons, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like whistleblowers might use it to expose corruption.
Interesting.
Activists might use it to organize in countries with strict censorship.
That makes sense.
Journalists might use it to communicate with confidential sources.
Oh, wow.
It can be a lifeline for people in dangerous situations.
That's a good point. But hold on, isn't the dark web also like the place where criminals hang out?
Well,
I mean, all that anonymity
Yeah.
sounds pretty inviting if you're trying to do something illegal.
yeah, that's the tricky part.
Oh,
The same tools that protect vulnerable people
right.
can also shield criminal activity.
So it's kind of a double-edged sword.
Think of it like a city at night.
Okay.
There are brightly lit streets full of good people.
Yeah.
And then there are dark alleys where you might not want to wander.
Uh-oh.
The dark web is both.
Okay, so we've got SecureDrop for journalists and whistleblowers.
Right.
But then, what about those dark alleys?
Yeah.
What kind of illegal activities actually happen on the dark web?
Oh, pretty much anything you can imagine.
Seriously.
Yeah. Illegal marketplaces where you can buy drugs,
Mm-hmm.
weapons, stolen data. It's all there.
Wow.
Yeah.
And they're using cryptocurrency for all of this, right?
Exactly.
Like Bitcoin, but even more secretive versions.
Yeah, so cryptocurrencies, especially privacy-focused ones like Monero, make it really hard to trace transactions.
Oh, okay.
So this appeals to people who want to keep their financial activities private,
Right.
but it also, attracts criminals trying to launder money or fund illegal operations.
So it really is like a double-edged sword.
It is.
The same technology that empowers good can also be used for bad.
It's true.
This all raises an important question for you, the listener.
Oh, I like this.
Why should you care about the dark web,
Good question.
even if you never plan to use it? Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to our deep dive into the dark web.
We've talked about how it can be used for good and bad.
Right, a real mix.
But to really get it, I think we need to understand why it exists.
That's a great point.
So let's rewind a bit back to the early days of the internet.
Okay, back in time we go.
What was the driving force behind something like the dark web even being created?
Well, the internet, at its core,
Yeah.
was built on this idea of open communication.
Right. Sharing information,
Global connection.
breaking down barriers, all that.
Exactly.
But then as it grew,
Hmm.
concerns about privacy and surveillance popped up.
Yeah, governments got interested in monitoring online activity,
Makes sense.
and corporations started collecting all that user data,
So the internet.
which was supposed to be this free and open space,
Yeah.
started to feel a little less free.
I see. So people started looking for ways to reclaim that privacy.
Exactly.
Interesting.
And one of the key solutions came from a surprising source.
Oh.
The U.S. Navy.
What?
Yeah, they developed Tor.
The onion router.
Yeah, to protect their own communications.
So it was all about anonymity and security for them.
It was.
Wait, so the technology that helps, like, journalists and activists
Yeah.
in dangerous situations
Right.
was originally developed by the military.
Kind of ironic, isn't it?
It really is.
But it shows how powerful the desire for privacy is.
Yeah, I could see that.
And Tor, being open source, became a tool for anyone who wanted to communicate anonymously online.
Not just the government.
Not just the government, no.
Okay, so we've got this tool for anonymity. We know it attracts all sorts of users.
It does.
But that diversity brings challenges too, right?
Absolutely.
How do we deal with the fact that the dark web is used for both good and bad?
That's the ethical dilemma at the heart of the dark web.
Okay.
Should platforms like SecureDrop,
Which are essential for whistleblowers, journalists, be held responsible for illegal stuff that happens elsewhere on the dark web?
It's a tough question.
It's like trying to regulate a city. You can't just shut down the whole city because there's crime in some parts.
Right.
But you can't just ignore the crime either.
Exactly, and that's where the debate gets heated.
I bet.
Some people argue that any attempt to regulate the dark web will erode the privacy and anonymity that makes it so valuable.
So those vulnerable groups.
Right. They believe freedom should be prioritized, even if it means accepting some risk.
But then on the other side, you have people saying the risks are too high.
Yeah.
That the dark web allows for too much criminal activity, that something has to be done.
Right. They argue for security being the priority.
Even if it means giving up some freedom.
Yeah.
So it's this tug-of-war between freedom and security.
Classic.
Finding the right balance is tough.
It is.
But here's the thing.
Yeah.
This debate isn't just theoretical.
Right.
It has real consequences for everyone, even if you've never heard of the dark web.
It does.
So how does this affect the average person, someone who's never even thought about using Tor?
Think of it this way.
Okay.
The decisions we make about how to regulate the dark web, they will shape the future of the internet for everyone.
Whoa.
Will we go for freedom and anonymity?
Right.
Or will we go for security and control?
Yeah.
That answer affects everyone's online experience.
So it's not just about the dark web itself.
It's not.
It's about the ideas behind it.
The principles, yeah.
And those are relevant to all of us.
They are.
Wow. Okay, I see the connection now.
Good.
The dark web is like this mirror reflecting back the biggest challenges we face as a society.
It is. It's a reminder that technology isn't neutral.
Oh, that's good.
It's shaped by the people who create and use it.
Right.
And the dark web shows how technology can be used in both ways.
Empower and exploit, protect and harm.
Exactly.
It's a lot to think about.
It is.
But it's important that we do think about it.
Absolutely.
Because, like it or not, the dark web is a part of our world.
Part of the digital landscape, yeah.
And understanding it
is essential if we want to use the internet safely and ethically.
I agree.
The more we know about the dark web, the better we can protect ourselves.
Our security, our privacy.
And the more we're involved in these debates about how to regulate it,
right,
the better chance we have of making the internet work for everyone.
That's a great point. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the deep dive. We've been exploring this dark web.
Yeah, all its twists and turns.
Uncovering the complexities. The ethical dilemmas.
Right. But now, I think it's time to look ahead. What does the future hold for this hidden corner of the internet?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Is it going to stay a haven for criminals?
Sure.
Or could it become something, I don't know, even more powerful?
It's hard to say for sure.
Yeah.
But the future of the dark web is really tied to the future of the internet as a whole.
True.
And the internet, well, it's always evolving.
It really is.
New technologies are popping up all the time.
Right.
And those could change everything, including the dark web.
So what are these game-changing technologies? What's on the horizon?
One of the big ones is the rise of mesh networks.
A mesh network?
Yeah, imagine a network where there's no central authority, no single point of failure.
So even more decentralized than the dark web already is.
Exactly. Mesh networks operate independently of the traditional internet infrastructure.
Oh, wow.
Devices connect directly to each other, forming a web of interconnected nodes.
So they're incredibly difficult to shut down or control.
Pretty much.
I see why that would be appealing to, like, people living under oppressive regimes.
Right.
Facing internet censorship.
It's like a digital lifeline that can't be cut.
Yeah, exactly.
We're already seeing this in conflict zones, areas with limited internet access.
Wow.
It offers a level of freedom that you just can't get on the regular internet.
That's amazing. And how does this tie into the dark web specifically?
Well, it's possible that mesh networks could become the foundation for a new kind of dark web.
Even more hidden, even more resilient.
Right. The anonymity and resilience of mesh networks fit perfectly with the core ideas of the dark web.
It's like a natural progression.
Yeah.
So it's not just about hiding information anymore. It's about creating totally new ways to communicate, to share information.
Outside the control of anyone.
Wow.
Governments, corporations, anyone.
That's powerful stuff. And what about cryptocurrencies?
Yeah.
We talked about how privacy coins, like Monero, are already used on the dark web.
Right.
But that feels like just the beginning.
It probably is.
So what's next? What's coming down the pipeline?
Imagine a world where financial transactions happen completely outside of government control.
No banks.
No banks. Individuals have total control over their money.
Their identities, their data.
It's a powerful vision.
It is. And that's the vision driving these new cryptocurrencies, these blockchain technologies.
It is.
So how does that intersect with the dark web?
Well, the dark web has always been this place for experimentation, pushing the boundaries.
Yeah.
A breeding ground for innovation, good and bad.
So the development of these new financial systems
could have a huge impact.
On the dark web.
On the dark web, for sure.
So it's not just about buying illegal things anymore.
It's about creating alternative systems.
Alternative economies, alternative realities even?
Maybe, yeah. The dark web is becoming this testing ground for new ideas.
New ways of organizing ourselves.
New ways of interacting.
It's like a separate world is forming, hidden under the surface. A world with its own rules, its own values.
It's fascinating, but it's also a challenge.
Right.
How do we navigate this increasingly complex, this hidden world?
How do we use these new technologies safely?
And how do we make sure the future of the dark web, the future of the internet, really benefits everyone?
Those are huge questions. I don't think they're easy answers.
Probably not, but we need to keep asking them.
We need to keep learning.
Keep challenging what we think we know.
Because the internet, the dark web within it, it's all a reflection of us.
It is a mirror to our hopes and fears.
To our dreams, our nightmares.
And the choices we make now.
They will shape what we see in that mirror tomorrow.
That's a good way to put it.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the dark web, remember this isn't just a story about technology.
It's a story about us.
It's about human nature.
Our capacity for good and bad.
Our desire for freedom, for connection.
And the story's not over yet.
It's just getting started.
The future of the dark web is still being written.
And we all have a part in writing it.
So stay curious, stay informed.
Stay engaged. The future of the internet is in our hands.
Let's make it a future worth fighting for.